It is Thursday, March 20th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. And now, a guy who has Alabama in the Final Four, but then the batteries on the Xbox wore out. J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Dream Finders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Busy hour ahead on a not-so-busy week at the Miller Electric Center. Kind of no man's land of the offseason, but we'll get to the free agency aftermath coming up. Pro Day season is here as well. And rule change proposals announced yesterday. We'll crush some of those, I'm sure, and make fun of the teams who proposed them. That's coming up. We're on 1010XL, AMJaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, JP.
How the heck are you?
Good. Doing good. Good.
How's your bracket, by the way? NCAA tournament?
Yeah, great. Great. Yeah,
You didn't even know the tournament was going on.
I
Don't lie.
have. The only reason that I know that the bracket exists right now and that there's a tournament going on is because when I walked in, you had basketball on your laptop.
It was on.
And somebody came in and asked you, Dylan,
Yes.
asked you how your bracket was doing. And I was like, I like basketball. I like watching it. Yeah. But I just haven't watched enough of it to actually pay attention and have an opinion.
I mean, let's be honest. What happened? He walked in. I said, "What time does Rutgers play?" And they're not in. So
yeah, you were kind of needling.
I was not kind of.
Yeah, that was.
I was getting after.
It was a little bit brutal, I think.
It
to be
was.
honest with
That's
you.
fair. It's
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah,
it happens.
Well, and I got an education because I found out that Rutgers actually has 2 top-end prospects for the NBA draft.
You fooled me.
And how in the world can you have 2 top prospects that are looking to be drafted in the top 10, and then you stink to where you're not in the March Madness,
hey,
I guess.
You know, we've had that around here where we've won an off season. You've had great players come in. And all of a sudden, things get real quick.
I get it. But I
got to go perform.
Look, I would rather watch, and just to be honest with you, I would rather watch a spring football game than to watch just a tournament game for me. But now once it gets down to like the final game, I'll watch it. Yeah. But all of the other games leading up to it, nah.
It's
the
good.
The NFL is must-watch TV for me.
right.
I'm going to watch every game that I possibly can. College football, occasionally. But the NFL, to me, is must-watch TV.
I haven't watched hoops all season. I don't watch much of it. But these 2 days, today and tomorrow, are great background TV days for me. Like, it's on. There's always a game on.
It's background noise.
It's all, from noon until midnight. There's basketball.
Golf has always been good background for me.
Yeah, it's a good nap time.
Total good nap time. On Sunday afternoon, turn the golf on, they start talking like this.
McIlroy.
Yeah, they start talking real soft. And it's just like I start getting heavy. I've seriously, when I was playing football, Sundays were like in the spring were my known nap time. Mm-hmm. I would turn the golf on, dim the lights, close the blinds, put on golf, and then after a big meal, turn the volume down just a little bit where they started talking all nice and soft.
It's over.
Guaranteed nap. Guaranteed nap.
Love that.
What was the guy's name that did golf forever? Jim Nance?
Yeah, he still does golf.
I mean, he still does it. And who's the one that was doing the players?
Oh, that's NBC. Dan, I forget his last name.
Did a good job.
Oh, yeah, they do a good
Did a good job. Entertaining tournament, though, by the way. Did you go?
I went Friday.
I was there Saturday.
Friday was the perfect day. Light wind.
Great, beautiful
perfect
day.
weather.
Beautiful day.
We had an event with the quarterback out there, so that was fun. And then I think the coaches were out there a bunch on Saturday, too.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of them on
Saturday.
Saturday.
Got a chance to check it out. Some of the guys that are new in town, so a lot of Jaguar influence out there.
Yeah, no, it was good. I got to chat with a lot of the coaches on Saturday. Didn't watch a ton of golf. And then was going to go back out on Sunday, but the weather was a little bit prohibitive. And
a little bit? They had a 4-hour delay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
And
Dan,
then I heard
Dan
a lot of
Hicks,
people,
by the way, is the NBC announcer. Dan Hicks.
Dan Hicks, not Dan Hicken. Dan Hicks.
Big difference. Big difference. No, it's a perfect weekend. They got it done. The playoff on Monday. And here we are, back to football.
Yeah, back to football.
Yes.
And by the way, I had some great conversations with the coaches and Anthony Campanile. Me and him, man, we chatted it up for, I don't know, like an hour, talking ball, football.
He seems like a ball-talking guy.
Oh, he's great. Love his energy. Love talking with him. Talking with Liam, talking with James. Baselli was there, shaking hands,
Shocking.
kissing babies.
Yeah, imagine that.
Nah, it was good. I had a good time.
Love that. Jaguars, they had a big kind of first run at free agency. 9 guys with James Gladstone in here last week with us to go through most of those guys, all of those guys. They've since added another. They added a tackle yesterday, Fred Johnson from the Eagles. He's been with a couple other teams in his career as well. That just kind of continues a trend. Now 4 new offensive linemen in the free agency wave, and I'm going to guess at least more to come in the draft. Yeah. So a retooling of that offensive line.
I don't think there's any doubt that there's more coming in the draft. And I think it goes to show you how, in many ways, that they overestimated the value of the current offensive line over the last couple of years. Because now you have, a completely new regime come in, and that it has been the focus of attention immediately from the free agency standpoint. And like I said, I don't think they're done. I think they still got work to do. The nice thing is that what they've done so far will allow them to draft the best available player and not force a pick necessarily with that offensive line or really any position, I think, for the most part. But I would expect them in rounds 1, 2, or 3 to grab an offensive lineman. And when's the last time that they picked multiple offensive linemen in a draft? There may be multiple in this draft.
Could be.
And so I think it's going to be very exciting to watch. But look, I like what they've done. I love Patrick. It's McCary and Hainsey. I think they're quality players, and I think that they can start. Fred Johnson, I think, has been a really good backup over his career, and I think that he will continue to be that for this football team. I think he'll actually come in to compete, for a job. But is he going to win it? I don't know. But I can tell you this: I think Fred Johnson is a better backup than this football team has had over the last couple of years in the interior. So the guys that have been with this football team and are still under contract, you better be having one hell of an off season. I can tell you that. And you better be getting bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, better.
all the above.
You had better not leave any stone unturned.
Right, because it's time. It's changing.
There's no given positions. First year of a staff and the change of an organization, that always goes out the window.
Yeah, I had this conversation with somebody in the building the other
Draft
day.
pick? I don't care. Right. They don't care.
I mean, how many positions, players are guaranteed locks on this team right now?
Well, I mean there's contractually there are some guys I think that are not going anywhere. I mean, Trevor obviously with the guaranteed money.
Hines Allen.
Josh Allen is obviously not going anywhere.
Trayvon
Walker Little, new contract, guaranteed money. Trayvon is obviously not going anywhere. A couple guys that just recently were signed last year. Eric Armstead. The contract's prohibitive to where he's going to be here probably this year. Gabe Davis probably in the same boat. Mm-hmm. There are contracts to where some guys can represent a cost savings. There are some guys that will cost you a lot of money to get rid of. And unless you have a certifiable replacement at a very low cost, then you're going to end up keeping that player for a period of time until that money goes down to be able to handle it as a hit. Not an easy situation to be in when you have players like that. And I think that's the one difference. If you look at this year's free agent class and you compared it to past free agent classes, look at the guaranteed money. For real, look at the guaranteed money that this draft class, the free agent class that just got signed, and you compare that to past free agent classes that this team has signed, the guaranteed money is dramatically different. And I'm not exactly sure of the numbers, but I think you could take all 9, maybe even 10, counting Fred Johnson, all 10 and add up the guaranteed money of those 10, and it may equal what Eric Armstead and Gabe Davis got last year.
That's possible, entirely possible.
Which goes back to what I've been saying, and I think what James Gladstone believes in, is that the lifeblood of every franchise is the draft, and you have to draft well. And if you look at the past free agent activity, this football team, you can understand that this team has not done a good enough job drafting because they've had to pay a lot of money to supplement the deficiencies that this team has had in the draft.
And those guys a lot of times aren't good either. That have in the past, right? Then you're doubling down on issues.
I mean, to be honest with you, look at Gabe and Eric Armstead.
They didn't produce
and I'm not
last year.
trying to pick on them by any means, and I believe that they can be productive this year. But last year, did they produce to the level of expectation of the contract? A simple answer, an easy answer is no. Can they get to that point this year? I hope so. But last year it didn't happen, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Gabe was hurt quite a bit.
Yep.
Eric Armstead, in my opinion, was playing out of position. You had a defensive coordinator who, quite honestly, didn't have a clue. One of the worst coached football teams in Jaguars history last year by Ryan Nielsen. And I hope all of that can change. But again, to go back to it, you've got to draft well. You look at the teams that are historically good year in and year out. They're good because why? They draft well every year. And until you draft well, you will not be there.
That's right.
So here's hoping, okay, that this change, and you got a new regime, that you will start to pick better in the draft to change the direction of this franchise. That's my hope.
All right, let's come back in a minute, and a couple minutes at least. We'll get into the draft this year.
All right.
Pro day season is here.
Yeah, I saw that somebody was televising a pro day live today.
Yeah, that's an NFL Network thing. Yes.
They're going to different college pro days now.
That's right. They've done that for a number of years.
I mean, what are they, desperate?
Yeah.
Do people watch that?
So I guess you
the
watched
only reason
it.
I wasn't watching. I was walking down the hallway on my way here.
Yeah, they have it.
And I saw, and it must have been NFL Network that was on one of the TVs, and I saw that this pro day was being televised.
Especially if it's a quarterback that's big. Okay, they'll show his workout, you know.
And they all got shirts and everything like they get at the combine.
They do. Let's go back in a moment. We're on 1010XLAM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Dreamfinders Homes.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, I'm Logan Cook, punter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or stolen is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn on the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. But remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead, have a designated driver, keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
It's Truck Month with the Ford crew.
Sam, do you know what these trucks have in common?
They're all Ford trucks.
And
they're built Ford tough.
Also true, but specifically they're Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years.
48 years? We should celebrate a month-long event.
Sam.
A truckload of value.
Sam.
Across the entire lineup of Ford trucks.
Sam.
That's called Truck Month already, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my knew it.
Based on 1977 to 2024 CY industry reported total sales.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open a legal residence in the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
I hope what they see is someone who cares. I hope that shows in my play. I think it does because I do. I care a lot. I care about my teammates. I care about the team. Those are the things that I want to be evident in my play. They want to see a guy finishing all the way to the whistle, picking up his teammates, first one there to get him. If I'm not doing that, text me, shoot me, tweet me, tell me I'm not doing it because that's important. That stuff's important to me.
That is Robert Hainsey. Brought in free agency of the offensive line that will play center for the Jags. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Did he just encourage people to text
him,
tweet him?
Tweet him, text him.
If he's not doing I don't know if that was smart or not.
They're going to do it either way.
That's my point.
But, okay, you're opening it up. Jaguars football presented by Fresh from Florida. It's always in season. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. On 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube for Jaguars Happy Hour. It is Pro Day season.
Mm-hmm.
And
what would you rather watch, Pro Day or NCAA basketball?
It depends on who I'm watching on the Pro Day. Like if it's a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Remember we were chasing quarterback back in 2014?
Right.
We actually went and covered Pro Days. We went to Johnny Manziel's. We went to Teddy Bridgewater's. We went to Blake Bortles. They were all televised, and you know when the quarterbacks throw in a quarterback-heavy top of the first round, you're going to see those on TV all the time. You know, so I think it's just a matter of who it is.
Yeah.
Now Johnny that day at A&M had like 2 balls hit the ground. Mike Evans was running for him.
Well, that helps.
And like George Bush and Barbara Bush were there on a golf. It was a scene, man.
I remember that.
So it was interesting television, I'm sure, to watch. But now there's one conference, at least, that has kind of got it together because all these schools usually have their own pro day.
You were telling me about this. It's pretty unique.
The Big 12 has pro days all together. So all the schools.
How many schools in the Big 12?
Well, at least 12.
Well, it's not 12 anymore. It's more than that.
It's probably 14 now.
Yeah.
But they send their prospects all to Dallas, to the Star. Where the Cowboys headquarters is.
And Jerry's no doubt making a little bit of money on that.
Guessing so. But it's March 18th through 21st. Different positions each day.
Okay.
I think it's a brilliant idea because all the scouts can just stay there and see all the players in one place.
Yeah, you save at least NFL teams are saving on a lot of travel expenses.
Yeah. Because a lot of these schools are, they have to, in the SEC at least, they schedule them where, okay, you can hit Auburn one day, Alabama the next, and then go to wherever the day after that, and it's like a week or two where everybody's together.
Yeah, and with the spawning of a lot of these things like you're talking about, I think that's going to further minimize the combine workout part, which is not good for the NFL's ratings at the combine.
Yeah.
But, if you're a player, where would you rather work out? Would you rather work out in February at the NFL combine, or would you rather wait until latter part of March to give yourself a little bit more time to get, I guess you could say, even better at running or whatever else you've got to do from a drill standpoint at the pro day? You'd rather wait, right? I mean, you give you a little bit more time to prep. A lot of guys coming out of a season might be nicked up, beat up a little bit, and they've been playing football. The body needs a little bit of time to recoup and recover, and then you've got to train for physical testing. I mean, the March aspect of that is so much better.
Yeah. Now, in the February Combine, you're going to get official 40-time numbers. Like they have the computerized system and everything.
Right.
You got to take the ones at schools a little bit with a grain of salt.
Well, I mean, if you got your guys there, then
that's different.
Then you're trusting your guys.
For example, the Alabama one yesterday.
Okay.
Jalen Milroe reportedly ran a 4.37 40.
Okay.
And I saw that. I'm like, there is no way.
You don't think so?
Well, it comes out later. Yeah, most had him in the mid-4s,
Which is pretty fast.
Still fast.
I mean, there might have been
4.37. What is this guy, Bo Jackson?
Well, I mean, there might have been one guy that had him at a 4.37. And, of course, that grabs more. JP, you know,
the headlines.
Both
It's
know.
Take it. Come on. It's fast. He's a good athlete.
More clicks out of 4.37 in the headline than you do 4.45.
Right.
And here's the reality about Milrose. Okay. Great athlete.
Yes.
And if a team is going to consider drafting him, I hope that you're willing to have a little patience, just like the Colts.
I hope they're in the AFC South.
I hope. Tennessee Titans, he is the man for you. Not everybody is a Jalen Hurts.
No.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that can make that conversion from being a running quarterback in college to being a passer. And Jalen Hurts had a really set of optimum circumstances to really grow into. And there's not many jobs that are going to be available that are going to be like that.
No.
The way it was set up in Philly, for him to be able to grow when a running game and an offensive line was so good. Most of the teams that are going to in need of a quarterback don't have an offensive line like that. They don't have a running game like that. They don't have a team like that. And so the quarterback's going to be expected to play quarterback right away. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts didn't have to do that so much. They didn't lean on him as much. So Milrose is a fine athlete. Don't get me wrong. And he's had games where he's been absolutely unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And I wish him well. I hope he can develop into that guy, but he's a ways away. I wish he would have stayed at Alabama for another year. And let me ask you this question as an Alabama alum. Mm-hmm. Do you wish that he had returned for another year?
There were moments, and I'm not going to speak for the whole fan base, where I'm not up there, whatever.
Where I'm talking about you, speaking for you.
But there was some frustration around him. At times.
Okay.
And because it was not as consistent as it could have been earlier.
What did he get from a NIL standpoint? I mean, just out of curiosity, because, the reality is college football is professional football now.
Yeah.
And if the University of Alabama felt like, hey, look, we can spend the same amount of money and get a better player, do you think they could have been the ones that were saying, hey, look, we're probably not going to re-up you for next year. You might want to consider turning pro?
So according to this article, I don't know if I trust this website or whatever. They're saying had a total NIL evaluation of $1.6 million.
Okay.
Had a few different things. I don't know. You never know. Huh. But then also, he's won some big games there. Like, beat Auburn on the final play on this crazy throw on a 4th down.
He's had moments where he's been brilliant, and he's had moments that he has been not nearly good enough, and that just is a true sign of a quarterback that's just not quite ready yet.
Cam Ward is the one that most everybody's mocking number 1 of the Titans these days.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch.
Have you watched any of these guys yet?
I have not watched the quarterbacks yet, but I've been watching. I've just started this week, and so I'm about 7 guys deep, and so every day it'll be 5 to 7 guys. So
what are you looking at?
I watched the top 7 guys in the draft, 6, 7 guys in the draft so far.
Okay.
Which, because, the Jaguars picking at 5. Obviously that's kind of – and that's where I really put my concentration and energy on is with those guys. I can tell you that from watching the guys that I have watched so far, Travis Hunter, I don't know where I'd play him. I don't. And here's the thing. I think he might be number 1 overall pick of this draft. And he may be number 1 overall pick for some other reasons. The way that he plays wide receiver, it's effortless. He's the most efficient athlete that maybe I've ever watched play football on offense.
Ever.
He doesn't waste any steps. And he makes it look so easy when it's not easy. And the amount of times that Shadrick Sanders is off target, that Travis Hunter makes him look good.
Right.
And because I don't watch a lot of college football,
right.
I never really paid attention to that. But watching the film, this guy makes Shadrick Sanders look even better than what he may be, just because got great range. And then once he gets the ball in his hands, the speed, the efficiency. When I say efficiency, he's running 50 yards down the field. And a lot of times guys have to zig and zag a whole bunch of times to get 50 yards. He's not having to zig and zag. He's very efficient, okay, with his energy and his motions and his movements to get to that 50 yards. One of the most efficient guys I've ever watched film on.
And then he turns around and comes back and plays defense.
Which is crazy.
Every down.
I mean, and because he has such great ball skills is why he's a surefire candidate to play wide receiver full time and to maybe dabble in defense or vice versa.
Yeah, a lot of people saying the other way because he worked out as a corner, but you could put a package at wide receiver. Would you be comfortable playing him every down?
Let me ask you this. And here's a question. Okay, give me a top Hall of Fame corner.
Revis.
Okay, Darrelle Revis. Give me a top Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Jerry Rice.
Who would you rather have, Jerry Rice or Revis Island?
I'd like to have both.
Of course.
If I could.
But if you had to pick one.
It's an offensive league. I think I'd like to score points.
And it sells
But
tickets,
if you have a
right?
shutdown corner, that shuts down half your field. Is he that? I don't know if he's that. He's good.
I think it's a great question. I mean, I think it's a great question. Where is he going to play?
I'll tell you, we had on Westwood 1, we had the first game of the season 2 years ago, Colorado at TCU. And it was, how is this thing going to work? All these transfers are coming in. All these guys from Jackson State. Shadrick Sanders, the quarterback. Travis Hunter was going to be the big guy at FSU. Can he make the jump? Oh, yeah. It was.
Sure, he can do whatever he wants.
Unbelievable. He had an interception in the game. I mean, it was a back-and-forth ball game. Both teams were pretty good. TCU was coming off their loss in the championship game. They didn't have all their horses, but, I mean, it was impressive what they did the first day out, at least, at Colorado.
I think also, from watching it, I went into it with the expectation that there would be packages for him on offense and that these packages would be limited. Maybe they keep him on the left side. Maybe he's only a slot. Maybe he's only an X. They moved him all over the place. There was no limitation on his learning curve for offense, which impressed the hell out of me. So I think that's a great question because everybody assumes he's going to play defensive back and then he'll dabble in offense. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I think that he could be an offensive player that could dabble in defense. Great player.
Heisman Trophy winner.
The speed?
He's fantastic.
Man.
Yeah, he's good.
And
really
Shadrick
good.
Sanders ought to be thanking him all the time. All the time. And so a little bit ago I said my number one picks.
Who's the other one?
Is Abdul Carter.
Oh, Penn State.
Number 11, Penn State, which that was Micah Parsons' number at Penn State.
It was a lot of people's numbers. Yes, that's the number there that you wear when you're the next guy.
It's like the 7 at LSU.
Exactly. LeVar Arrington, all those guys were 11, right?
Stud. Line him up anywhere. Defensive end, as a stand-up spinner, as an inside linebacker. I think if you'll remember right, JP, going back a few years, and that I said when Myles Garrett was coming out that it's not very often that a guy comes out that's just a physical freak. And Myles Garrett was one of those guys, right?
Sure.
And partly because the length. Now, look, this guy doesn't have the length, okay, but he's got that freakish athletic ability that is very rare. And his stamina is, I would want to say it's comparable to the very inside linebacker that we have on this football team.
Foye looking.
Foye, who has, I've said this before, some of the greatest stamina, or has the greatest stamina of any player that arguably I've watched. Abdul Carter's got the same type of stamina. One speed and it's full speed, doesn't seem to get tired. But here's the one thing that I will say about like Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, and these guys are obviously just freaks. I don't know anything about their character. I don't know anything about their intangibles. I just look at the film. I don't know if they're dumb as a box of rocks or geniuses. I don't know that.
Who knows?
So when I throw an opinion out there, it's based on what I watch on film, and that's it. And those two guys are at the top of the list. I think clearly it's those two guys at the top. Everybody else is fighting for third place.
Okay, there you go. The Lageman guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. I mean, it's only an opinion.
If Travis Hunter is there at 5, you picking him
take
over
him,
all these other linemen and things?
All day long.
Over Graham, over
all
the tackle.
Day long. Take him all day long. He's got. You put him on offense with
Brian Thomas,
with BTJ. Oof. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
And then give him packages on defense. As you can tell, I kind of like the idea of him being an offensive player versus a defensive player.
So, yeah. But this team needs cornerbacks, too.
Well, I know that. But, yeah, it's a great debate.
I'd love to be in the conversation or the room.
I would love
listening to the conversation when they fight over where they want to play him.
I would love
the
I would love to see
Udinski and Campanile going at
fighting it out.
Absolutely.
Put the gloves on.
Dukes, put up your dukes.
I would love to see a survey.
Yeah.
And the only way that you would get it would be if it was an anonymous survey of GMs around the National Football League. And tell them, give me which side of the ball that you think he deserves or needs to be on.
Well, that could change.
I would love to see that.
That could change by team, right? If you're stacked at receiver.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would love to see the survey of all 32.
That's right.
And I bet you it's closer than what a lot of people were originally thinking on Travis Hunter.
Let's come back in a moment. We got to get to these rule change proposals. Some of them are stupid. Yeah, I said it.
Why?
You'll find out.
Why are you calling things stupid?
Well, have you heard these? Some of these?
Oh, yeah, I've actually.
Okay.
I don't
you
know
probably agree with me. I got a feeling you agree with me.
Are you calling Green Bay stupid?
I'm calling their proposals stupid.
Okay.
I would never call it organization.
Well, I mean, the organizations that are the ones that are putting the proposals up.
Well, that's fine. If that's what it says, it's what it says.
Okay.
We're going to find out
who you are calling stupid.
That's fine.
After this.
In a moment, it's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Hey, I'm Logan Cook, punter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or stolen is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn on the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. But remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead, have a designated driver, keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
We were talking about, just building a culture, and being a cornerstone of that rebuild. And I've always wanted to be a guy to, be known for that, be known for a culture and be known to, change culture. So I love a good competition and I love a good challenge. So I feel like this was the perfect place for me to go out there and show that I belong in this NFL and belong to be as one, known as one of the guys that, changed the culture.
Jordan Lewis, corner, most likely a nickel. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick and Jeff Lageman. We're at the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center.
He's going to be both, by the way.
You're going to move him around, huh?
Yeah, I think Jordan Lewis is going to be nickel and corner. What I love about him, he comes in, he's got a sweatshirt on that says grind.
Grind mode.
Okay, I'm all for that. Doesn't come in, with fancy dress, sunglasses, and all that. He's here to be a pro, and he has been a pro's pro. Look, the one thing I think that this regime is doing a really good job of is vetting guys. Not bringing. I'm trying to think of the James Gladstone terminology. To not bring the wrong types into the ecosystem.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Got to
They've
elevate the floor of the roster and
elevating the room of the ecosystem by them just being them.
Yeah. They're intangibly rich, so they just have to be themselves.
I love it. I love the way he talks.
That's right.
But the best part about it is that you got to have that belief and you got to stick to it, and he's sticking to it. But I like Jordan Lewis. So he's going to play nickel and he will play corner. He will play both.
Okay. Love that. Daly's play schedule, getting busy.
What do we got?
It's been busy. It'll be back busy again in May. May 10th, Teddy Swims. You got T-Pain May 31st. Old Dominion's on the list. June 6th. Styx is June 2nd. Vampire Weekend, June 12th. The full schedule and tickets available at dailysplace.com.
All right.
Yeah.
I wonder if Old Dominion is from Virginia.
One way to find out.
The reason I ask that is, that's actually a university in Virginia.
It's in Norfolk, right? Norfolk, Virginia? Right?
I don't think it's in Norfolk.
I bet you it is.
You think it is?
I think it is.
We're going to find out.
I guess we will. I'm searching old. Oh, they're from Nashville. Old Dominion.
Yeah, nobody's from Nashville. They may have gotten together in Nashville, but nobody's from Nashville.
They chose them because it's a nickname for the U.S. Four of the members of the group have links to Virginia.
There you go. See, there you go.
And this is great radio because I'm Googling on the air.
That's all right.
University, Old Dominion. It's in Norfolk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, show you what I know. I don't even know.
You're from there, man. You should know this. What the heck?
All I know is that Norfolk is a great Navy town.
It is.
And a little bit to the south of there's got a great place called Virginia Beach.
Yes.
And then Sandbridge Beach. a little bit south of Virginia
Spent
Beach.
some time over there, did you?
I have. As a kid, we used to vacation there. It was the middle of nowhere. Lots of sand. Lots of sun.
It's time to get into these rule change proposals.
Oh,
this
here
is
we
the
go.
time of year. We're closing in on the NFL annual meeting, known as the owners' meetings. That's at the end of the month. So there are rule change proposals, bylaw proposals, and club resolution proposals. There are 8 in total.
Okay, what do you got?
We'll go quick. This is by Detroit. They want to eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed for defensive holding and illegal contact.
I like that. I'm okay with that.
Well, you're a defensive guy. You would like that.
Well, I mean, look, it's been such a offensive slanted way. Let them. I think that's okay.
But then there's no penalty for holding a guy. You're just going to get holding all the time. Like, why wouldn't you just grab the receiver?
What would it be? It would be a yardage, right? I mean, it's
Would
okay.
Would it still?
If it's not an automatic first down, what they're proposing, then it would be on a certain amount of yardage, correct?
I don't know. They're not proposing that. That's the proposal.
Okay, what do you got? What else you got?
All right, next, Green Bay. Basically, they want to eliminate the push play.
And Green Bay needs to shut up. I mean, seriously.
And the
Just
keys are,
stop the play, okay? Stop complaining about it being a play that gets people hurt.
And somebody actually, one of the national analysts put this out the other day, and somebody responded with your video of you describing how to stop it when the Jaguars stopped it twice against the Eagles. Yeah.
Got to beat the center up.
That's it.
Got to win. And if you look at the Eagles' percentage of wins from new center versus Kelsey, the old center, the percentage of wins dropped a little bit, I believe.
Imagine that.
Yes. What else you got? But Green Bay needs the man up. Come on.
Philadelphia wants to align the postseason and regular season overtime rules. They want both teams with an opportunity to possess the ball, regardless of the first possession outcome, and a 15-minute overtime in the regular season.
No. Leave it the way it is. Okay?
So you like the postseason rule being different?
I do.
15 minutes, both teams get the ball.
I do.
But not regular season.
Not regular season. The regular season is a grind. Don't need to add potentially, because here's the reality is that coaches will coach differently if they know that they have a guaranteed possession in overtime in the regular season.
You're right.
So, no, I don't like that.
And by the way, defense is allowed. You can play defense.
Yeah, you can play defense.
You can get a team stopped or hold them to a field goal.
I don't. Why are they?
This is a proposal. I don't know.
Hey, what else you got?
Those are the 3 playing rule proposals.
Okay.
There are 2 club bylaw proposals. They're both by Detroit. Detroit's been busy. They want to amend the current playoff seeding format to allow wild card teams to be seeded higher than division champions if the wild card team has a better regular season record. I do not like this at all.
I don't like that at all either.
Division championships matter.
It totally matters, and it makes end-of-the-season games interesting. Okay, so Detroit is just trying to capitalize on what could have been for them this past year. If Minnesota had captured the division title, then Detroit would not have had home field advantage. Correct?
Well, Detroit won.
They won the division.
Yeah.
Because they could have lost the division and then been a non-top seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have had home games. They would have gone to a team that had a lesser record than them.
Correct.
Well, I don't like that because you have to have the importance of winning the divisions. It makes the game and the games at the end of the year meaningful. Totally meaningful.
Detroit was 15-2, to your point. Minnesota 14-3.
Correct.
But if Minnesota doesn't like that, don't lose 3 games. Guess what?
Well, but it was proposed by Detroit.
I know. I'm just saying in general.
Which they won the division. So, I mean, like you would have thought that Minnesota would have proposed that.
Right. But I think in general, that's
Detroit.
what I'm saying. If you don't like it, as a wild card, play better.
Play better.
Win.
Win your division.
Not that.
That's the beauty of having.
I was going to say it's not that hard.
That's the beauty of having divisions. Is it fair? At the end of the day, is it fair to have a Minnesota Vikings team that was 14-3 that had to go on a road? Who did they play in the first round?
I don't remember.
Out of curiosity.
They played the
Rams.
Played
Rams?
Rams, yep.
And the Rams had a lesser record, and they got whooped.
Yep.
So,
Sorry.
I like division games. I like the importance of division games. And you can make the schedule, particularly at the end of year, more meaningful as the NFL has done over the last couple of years by having division matchups.
Yeah.
And if you take that away, then I think it lessens the value of the end of the schedule, and it lessens the value of the division titles. Detroit can stick it up to where sun don't shine.
Wow. Okay, Detroit. I agree with you. Another Detroit one on the bylaw proposal. This is to exclude from the 90-player limit a player placed on reserve injured before or on the day of the roster reduction of 53. Unless such a player is designated for return. So this is basically just like a roster management into the preseason thing. So I don't know. Whatever. Well, about more guys being available, that's fine. They're kind of going that way.
So they're trying to put guys on essentially on IR before the final cut downs and still have the capability of bringing them back to the active roster.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Whatever. It's fine.
I'm okay either way on that one.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
If you limit it, because you don't want them stashing a bunch of guys on IR.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you don't have other teams that can pluck guys off of that roster.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It's got to be limited in some fashion.
We got 3 club resolution proposals to get through quickly here. By Pittsburgh, they want to permit clubs during the 2-day negotiation period before free agency to have one video or phone call with a prospective free agent and his agent, or a free agent and the player agent, and permit clubs to arrange for the player's travel upon agreeing to terms with an unrestricted free agent. So they cannot talk to the player right now until the start of the league year. Those 2 days they have to talk technically with the agent.
During the legal tampering period.
That's
so
right.
all they want to do is to legitimize talking to the player during the legal tampering period.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally okay with. It's but then again, if you allow that to happen, then all of a sudden the illegal tampering period, because there's already illegal tampering going on before the illegal tampering period. Now there's going to be even more illegal tampering prior to the illegal tampering period, which you'll be able to allow to talk to the player. But then teams will go ahead and try to talk to the player before the legal tampering period if they're now allowed to talk to the club during that period.
Not this team.
You see what I mean? It just doesn't end. I mean, it's a senseless thing. Come on.
All right, next one. We've got 7 teams: Baltimore, Cleveland, Houston, Vegas, Minnesota, Philly, and Washington are proposing to permit clubs to prepare kicking balls, the K-balls, before game day, similar to what they can do for game footballs.
Well, they used to allow them to do that.
But then they were like putting them in dryers and stuff, right? Weren't they?
Well, they were, yes, putting them in dryers. They were rubbing the balls down. They were pressing them, essentially trying to make the balls fatter, to make them more bouncy, to get more distance and everything else. I'm okay with that. Let them doctor them up, as long as each team gets to doctor the balls, let them doctor the balls. Better accuracy on field goals, longer field goals, I'm all for it.
And then one more that's really not a huge deal. Washington wants to permit clubs that may qualify for the postseason to get scouting credentials for 2 consecutive games played by a potential postseason opponent in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. So this is more just kind of deep football stuff.
That's like a little much.
There you go. We're back in a moment. Did you hate all these? I think we were kind of 50-50.
No, I mean, I'm okay with some.
I don't like the playoff seating change. Like, keep it as it is.
No, yeah, that's
fine.
Come on.
And by the way, why do we have to have lasers do the first down this year? Like, what's wrong with the chain gang? They're going to try that out.
So we're going to eliminate the chain gang?
No, they're still there as a backup.
You sure?
That's what they said.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I mean,
come on. If technology is there, then let's utilize it.
Let's come back in a moment. Hold that thought. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Suddeth is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home.
I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Suddeth crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and efficiency, it's no wonder why Suddeth is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the past 100 years, Suddeth has provided local, long-distance, and international moving services in Jax. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, Suddeth is helping you on moving day. Visit suddeth.com/Jags for a guaranteed quote.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open a legal residence in the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
It's Truck Month with the Ford crew.
Sam, do you know what these trucks have in common?
They're all Ford trucks.
And
they're built Ford tough.
Also true, but specifically they're Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years.
48 years? We should celebrate a month-long event.
Sam.
A truckload of value.
Sam.
Across the entire lineup of Ford trucks.
Sam.
That's called Truck Month already, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I knew it.
Based on 1977 to 2024 CY Industry reported total sales.
Hey, I'm Logan Cook, punter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or stolen is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn on the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. But remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead, have a designated driver, keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
He's done a lot of really successful things. He's got every tool in the bag that you need to be successful. So I told him, like, I'm here to help you as much as you'd like. I like to think that my familiarity with the system and the concepts that we're going to run and the way to operate, I feel like that's going to be beneficial for Trevor and the whole room. And I can't wait to get started.
That is the voice of Nick Mullins, free agent quarterback signed by the Jaguars. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios, Miller Electric Center. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. And Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Dreamfinders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good Birmingham area guy, Nick Mullins.
Is that right? Where'd he go to college?
Spain Park High School, which didn't exist when I was in high school. That's how old I am.
Okay.
Down south, kind of near Hoover. And then he went to Southern Miss.
Okay. All right.
I think he had committed to like UAB and then just it changed. Went to Southern Miss.
Got a little money under the table and changed his mind.
I don't know what's going on down there. Whatever. But, I mean, the guy's been around. He's had some starts in the league.
Was it even under the table when he was playing, or was it over the table?
Oh, I think it was under back then.
Okay.
All right.
I think it's a great I don't want to say great. It's a good thing that you sign a quarterback that has familiarity with the system. I think it helps the room. I think it helps the roster as a whole when you have a quarterback, and it doesn't necessarily, like I said, not necessarily the starter, but when you're entering a new era of a new system to help that along. And so I like that. Good job by Liam and James and Udinsky to bring in a guy that's got that familiarity.
Yeah, the last, 3 years with Minnesota. And
I think it's going to be interesting. I was asking this question kind of off the record with some guys, coaches. And so when you have Liam Cohn and Udinsky coming in, right, is the terminology now the same as it was in Tampa? Is the terminology the same as it was in Minnesota? Or do you create a completely new language so that nobody knows what your audibles are
see?
and terminology.
I think that's
is.
it, right?
Right?
So nobody can use Rosetta Stone and figure out what you're doing.
Exactly.
A whole new language.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting, and and from what I understand, that they have completed a new language for it.
Okay.
So I'm sure some of the concepts will be the same, but from what I understand, and I've been told, is that the language is different. Now, how different is probably there's different degrees and all of that. But look, I hope that, and I'm not sure what amount of homework Trevor can do now. They have all these restrictions.
Much. I mean,
until
they show up in the building.
Where he can be, what he can do, what he can get. Which I think is just it's an archaic rule. It doesn't make any sense.
You would propose that. Hey, let these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, some of the and look, I understand why some of the rules have been in place because the union negotiated to limit the amount of time that the players were getting asked to be at the building. But the last time I checked, I mean, just like in this football team's case, okay, you got $250 million committed to Trevor in contract. I mean, shouldn't that quarterback be allowed to maybe have meetings with coaches and learn the system?
So I think that's the part why the rule's in place, that some might make that more than just if you want to come, they would make it mandatory. You could argue that if you're paying $250 million, it should be mandatory.
Look, it's professional football. Okay, this is not college football where these guys got classes to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let the players come in and work out in the building. Let them talk with the coaches, especially when you have new regimes. I mean, it makes no sense that you wouldn't encourage that stuff. I think that the league obviously would like to see that change. The union, for whatever reason, holds on to it like it's some piece of pie that can't be given up without something great in return. Look, if it's making the game better, then do it.
But, all right, you were a player rep. You were a VP, weren't you?
Yeah.
The union?
Yeah. And I think this rule is dumb.
When you played, would you want this rule in place?
Absolutely. I think there needs to be more access from the players and the facility and the coaches than what is today. And I'm not saying that they need to start coming into work in February. I'm not saying that. But I mean, this restriction that they have in place about limited exposure with the coaches and everything is it's ridiculous.
Well, they have the rule in where if there is a head coaching change, you get 2 extra weeks of off-season program.
Correct.
April 7th.
Yeah, you get 1 extra week essentially of OTAs.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, on top of that, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if it's me, I want to have my quarterbacks and some of my guys getting the language in March, if possible. I mean, look, for every team, I think that once their season ends, there needs to be a period of time to where, okay, look, can't do anything. And I'm for that. But, I mean, you have certain teams that were done the first week of January, right?
Yeah, we were one of those.
Okay, and now all of a sudden, all of January to the first week of February to the first week of March to the first week of April, that's 3 months of essentially, oh, no, you can't do anything with the coaches. You can't do any kind of organized workouts or anything like that. Like, I want my guys in the building being supervised under professionals, okay, instead of having to be a gym rat somewhere else. It doesn't make any sense.
Logs, we made it through another hour.
Am I getting old and cranky or something?
Yes.
I mean, that's
you're
not
getting very old.
That's not old and cranky, though, is it?
It's old. I'll say that.
I mean, shouldn't a quarterback be able to get a playbook and meet with the coach
Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick.
Wow.
Thanks to our entire crew, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reaver, David Joe, Brooke Hopfe. Thanks to you for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.